Lethal Company has 11 moons, all with their own strengths and weaknesses. In this video, I'm going to be ranking all 11 moons based on their aesthetics and, more importantly, their gameplay to see which one really comes out on top. In the past, I've talked about moon rankings before, but my opinions have since changed and I figured, why not make a full ranking containing all 11 moons? Before I get into the list, I would like to just say thank you all. I just hit 1.5 thousand subscribers, and I'm rapidly approaching my goal of 2K by the end of the year. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like and subscribing for more content from me. But without further ado, let's get into the ranking. We're going to start off with the bottom of the barrel of moons, the absolute worst Lethal Company has to offer. And remember, this is just my opinion. Number 11 is going to have to go to Offense. Now, I'm sure some of you guys may have had a different moon at the bottom of your list, so let me just explain myself here. Starting with aesthetics, it's a bland desert moon with some industrial equipment. Essentially the exact same as Experimentation and Assurance, so its exterior is nothing to write home about. Now, the gameplay. The gameplay of Offense is what drags it all the way down to the last position on this list. Let's talk about the exterior first. The main entrance is not very notable. It takes 30 seconds to run to it, very similar to other moons. It's the fire exit that drags this moon down. This is the only moon in the game that does not have an accessible fire exit. To get to it, you either have to parkour from the top of your ship at the start of the day, or purchase an extension ladder. Talk about inconvenient. And let's say you do go to the fire exit, but you find more than one inventory of loot inside of it. Good luck getting it all out, because in order to transport that many items outside of the fire exit, you have to drop them on the ground. The only issue with that is that baboon hawks are incredibly common on this planet. This means that it's very likely that any scrap that you leave out in the open will be taken by these guys. Anyway, once you get inside, the moon does not get better. For starters, this is a moon that has one of the highest mineshaft spawn rates in the game. This means that much of the time you drop down on this moon, you'll be cosplaying a spelunker. Now, the mineshaft map isn't great for a lot of reasons. One of the main ones I'll talk about is the way that caves are generated. The floors of the cave are incredibly easy to get stuck on while walking, which can lead to a lot of untimely deaths. It can also lead you to get stuck underwater, causing you to drown to death. But this isn't a why I dislike mineshafts video, this is a moon tier list. So what makes Offense so different from the other mineshaft moons? Allow me to introduce you to two enemies that can be incredibly deadly when inside of a mineshaft. These guys are the Thumper and the Coilhead. Both of these guys have incredibly high chances to spawn on this moon, and both can be absolutely run-ending. With how windy and difficult it is to navigate through the mines, doing it backwards with a Coilhead on you may just be one of the worst things you may have to do in this game. And the Thumpers in the mineshaft, if you take one wrong turn, it's over for you. Oh, and did I mention that Offense has a size multiplier of 1.25x? This means that the scrap inside is more spread out than it is on other moons. Overall, Offense is considered an incredibly difficult moon with so little return in scrap value that it's hardly worth going to, even as a free moon. F. Now that that moon's over with, we can say hello to number 10 on the list, Dine. Now I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting this one to be low, so here it is. As far as aesthetics go, I actually really enjoy the snowy and hilly vibe, although I think another moon on this list pulls it off way better. All in all, I still find Dine to be a pretty moon overall. Anyway, gameplay. The gameplay on Dine is some of the worst that Lethal Company has to offer. Do you want a forest giant spawning in front of Maine at 10 AM? Do you want eyeless dogs listening to your every move while you try to navigate through mountains around the giants? Do you want the main and fire exits on this moon to be inaccessible at the start of the day during a flood? Well then, do I have the moon for you? Yeah, I got it. Nobody likes the exterior. But how about the interior? Well, the two most common enemies here are the Butler and the Barber. Something you should know about me is I play a lot of solo Ironmans, so I know a thing or two about the Butler, and let me just tell you it is a pain in solo. Sure, you can always kill it, but then you end up with bees, which for some reason live inside of it. Also, do I even need to talk about the frustration that is the Barber? That guy is a menace. It also has a 33% chance to be a mineshaft moon, and you all know how that goes from the last moon. One of the best parts about Dine, I will admit, is the scrap spawns, which makes it number 10 instead of 11. If you're playing carefully in a group, as long as you bring some flashes for the giants, there is a lot of potential to make money here, especially if you play it right. Good luck to anybody that's going here, especially the solo players. D. Now, I'm sure this next moon is one that a lot of you expected to be at the very bottom of the list, but let me explain why moon number 9 is Embryon. The first thing I'd like to talk about is aesthetics. Wow, are they cool. When you land, you see a swarm of abandoned robots on a ground of gems. Definitely one of the most unique out of any moon in the game. Now, the gameplay here is not as good as the aesthetics, but it accomplishes exactly what it wants to do. In the description of the moon, it's described to have been a testing ground for old birds, and, well, you can all see how that goes. This moon has a lot of potential for funny moments, especially with new players. You just pull the apparatus out and bam, instant clip farm. No, but in all seriousness, this moon costs credits to go to, and it is the second least amount of scrap in the game. That is very disappointing. Not to mention the scrap it does spawn is stuff like tattered metal sheets and big bolts. The monsters are also nothing really to write home about, except the 11% chance of a barber. Was that really necessary? Anyway, Embryon is a fun moon that definitely accomplishes its goal of just being fun. Don't expect to meet any quotas on there, and definitely do not pull out that apparatus. D. Alright, now I'd say we're definitely out of the bottom of the barrel moons and we are into the good stuff. This moon is the first one we all dropped onto when we started the game. It is the one that taught us the basics of what Lethal Company is. Welcome to moon number 8, Experimentation. Aesthetics-wise, this moon is very similar to Offense and Assurance, just substantially less hilly. Again, nothing interesting here, just a desert moon. The gameplay here is also incredibly standard. From the ship, you run in a straight line to get to the facility to get to both main and the fire exit. From there, you go inside and you find yourself in a facility that has the least scrap in the game, but at least it's small and the monsters aren't typically tough. The most common monsters here are bunker spiders and snare fleas, so as long as you pay attention above, you shouldn't be having too many deaths on this guy. This moon absolutely deserves its spot on the tier list, as it's great for teaching new players what to do in this game, although for experienced players, its low scrap count is absolutely a deal breaker. C. The description of moon number 7 is absolutely correct. It is often overlooked, but that is for a good reason. Number 7 on this list is March. Let's talk about aesthetics first. I love the forest moons. The woods are one of my favorite places to hang out when I'm outside, and this game does a great job at making them look so pretty. And the massive pond in the middle definitely gives it a nice vibe. I will say though, there are some areas that are emptier and give a sort of uneasy vibe to the moon that's very hard to get past. Moving on to the gameplay, March is incredibly unique in the fact that it has 3 fire exits. You may think this is beneficial, but the only reason that they're there at all is because this is a requirement for this moon to be useful. March has the second largest interior in the game. This means that when you go inside, all of the scrap is spread out across an incredibly large map. This is a problem because March has abysmally low scrap spawns. You can go an incredibly long time without seeing a single item because of this, and it makes March highly inefficient to loot from. You need to hope that you get lucky with fire exit spawns and all 3 of them are in different locations with different scrap, or you won't be meeting quota with this guy. Now, March is above Experimentation because it has more potential. One benefit of March is that it has very high chances of spawning a beehive or even multiple beehives. So if you can't find stuff inside, go check the outside for some extra credits. On March, you'll run into a lot of thumpers and a lot of brackens, so make sure to keep your head on a swivel and be ready to run. It also spawns a lot of forest giants, so that takes it down a couple pegs on this list. March definitely deserves its spot here as the worst forest moon in the game, although not a bad choice for people who want to mess with the bees. C. This next moon is one I'm sure most people would put higher on this list, but I just can't understand why. The number 6 spot goes to Adamance. This is a moon that I just can't get behind like other people can. As far as aesthetics go, it got a whole overhaul in V70 and it looks phenomenal now. It's got all this new foliage and stuff. Anyway, on to the gameplay. Adamance has got this bridge that you can use when you have basically no weight. It's incredible for getting into the facility, but not so great for getting back. You see, this bridge breaks when you're holding almost any amount of scrap, which is terrible because that leaves you to get back by going through the valley. This valley is an issue, because it essentially is the only way to get back to the ship reliably and easily, but many of the outdoor enemies can block these off entirely, leading to a guaranteed death. You see, This moon spawns a hefty amount of baboon hawks and forest giants. This means that if a giant spawns in the valley, you cannot get back to your ship the intended way. I am aware of the different skips around the planet, but these can be difficult for most players to pull off, especially if they're carrying heavy scrap. The interior is fine in the sense that the monsters inside won't be too tough, but one positive is that there is a potential to get a lot of scrap here. Adamance is a high-risk, high-reward type moon. I just believe that the risk is too high for its reward. C. We've reached about the halfway point in the video, and I'd like to ask, what do you guys think so far? Drop a comment, let me know, and subscribe if you're enjoying the ranking. Quick detour over, on to moon number 5. Isn't it funny that the 3 forest moons are all ranking next to each other? That's right, we got Vow. Vow is like an old friend that's been ruined by poor decisions over the years. In a video I uploaded a while ago, I actually said that Vow was the best moon. Now, I completely disagree with that statement. Let me explain why. As usual, let's talk aesthetics first. This is a basic forest moon, like March. I like it more than March, as it feels more unique with its canyon by the entrance and dense forests around. I also like its fire exit positioning, though there are definitely some drawbacks to that I'll get into in a moment. Let's talk about the gameplay. Vow has mineshafts. I've already talked about some of my gripes with that, so I won't go further into depth, but problems specific to the interior of Vow include brackens and man-eaters. Oh god, the man-eaters. It feels like every time they add a new feature, they just stick it to Vow. Mineshafts, man-eaters, and now the sapsuckers. The scrap here is pitiful, with a maximum amount of 14 scrap, and most of the time, you won't find much of it. If you don't find it in main, you can always go into the fire exit. Just know when you come out, a giant might be there and prevent you from leaving the moon at all. Speaking of giants, they are everywhere on this moon, and they will absolutely be ending many of your days on Vow. Vow is not a bad planet by any means. If you can go into the fire exit first and get out before giants spawn, you'll be chillin', and the monsters won't hold you back inside from getting too much scrap. B. The rest of the moons on this list are moons that I think are incredible, and I'd be very happy completing quotas on any of them. Now with that stated, let's go on to moon number 4. And for this spot, I'm gonna have to go with Artifice. This moon is a beast when it comes to getting scrap. With the second highest amount of scrap in the game and certainly a good selection of high value scrap, Artifice will not miss when it comes to crushing quotas. Artifice's aesthetic is also really cool. It's got a system of warehouses on the outside that are interactable and can help you escape from a lot of enemies. The colors have also been desaturated outside, giving it a vibe that makes it feel almost nostalgic in the good way. Anyway, on to the gameplay. Artifice has one glaring issue that prevents it from being higher on this list, and that is its crazy high chances of having a mineshaft interior. Before V60, it was easy to say that Artifice was the best moon in the game, or at least one of them, but once mineshafts and man-eaters were put in, it definitely dropped it a couple spots. This moon has an equal chance to spawn a ton of monsters, leading to a different feeling run on this moon every time. Some notable monsters here are the Bracken, Nutcracker, Jester, Masked, and Coilheads. Really a mixed bag there. This moon has a great fire exit location as it's right next to main for easy access for more scrap. Outside of the facility, you can find a lot of different monsters, though most of the time the old birds there will just kill everything else anyway, so they're the major threat. As long as you can get around those pesky robots, maybe even trap a couple of them in a warehouse, you'll be good to go. Artifice is the definition of high risk, high reward, and this moon definitely yields some of the best rewards in this game. A. Now moon number 3 is going to have to go to a fan favorite, Assurance. This one is great, and I have a lot of good things to say about it. This moon is by far the best free moon in the game, and it's not even close. Aesthetically, it's just another desert moon, but gameplay brings this moon up to another level. There are many different ways to play Assurance, starting all the way up from inside of the ship. You can make a fire exit jump, though the fire exit is always accessible by a basic ladder, looking at you, offense. You can jump to a rock over here to get to main faster, or you can just sit back and wait for the ship to land and still have full access to the entire moon. This is a factory moon, with the same amount of scrap spawns as Vow, but on a smaller scale, and the scrap here is typically pretty good. When inside, the 3 most common enemies are the snare flea, the hoarding bug, and the bunker spider, so the danger within the facility is not too much to worry about. Outside of the facility, you can find mostly dogs and leviathans. This can be a lethal combo when together, but there is a route that you can take that almost entirely avoids them. Assurance can pride itself in being the best moon to start on for any run, and it is absolutely deserving of the number 3 spot on this list. S. Moving on to moon number 2. This moon is absolutely incredible and rather unique. It's one of the only moons that focuses on verticality outside, rather than having more of a horizontal layout. This moon, of course, is Titan. Titan is a snowy moon that is unique from Dine in the way that its exterior is tiny and has a lot more of an industrial feeling. Titan has the potential to have the most scrap in the game out of any moon, at a maximum of 31. While it is on a bigger map than Artifice, one of the bigger benefits of Titan lies in the fact that it has a factory interior. Now, Titan being an endgame moon means that it's incredibly dangerous, especially on the inside. Titan is home to notably nutcrackers, jesters, brackens, and coilheads. Thankfully, due to the short distance from the ship to the entrance, it's often easy to collect a large amount of scrap before anything too dangerous spawns. I'd also like to point out its optimal fire exit location, right next to main. The exterior spawns mostly eyeless dogs and giants, though since the exterior is so cramped, it's very easy to just jump down to your ship from the platform without having to worry too much about outdoor enemies on this moon. You will always make your money back going here, as it's substantially lower risk than Artifice and can result in even more gains. Titan absolutely deserves this spot at number 2. S. Now, on to what, in my opinion, is the best moon in Lethal Company. The moment you've all been waiting for. What is the number 1 moon? Obviously, it's the one that I haven't said yet. It's Rend. That's right. This snowy mansion moon is my favorite moon in Lethal Company, and I have a good reason. Rend is the second cheapest paid moon in the game, only more expensive than Embryon, and it is worth far more than the cost to go there. Rend has great vibes, like Dine, only better. It's hilly, snowy, and has some guiding lights to take you to the entrance. It also has a high chance of spawning eyeless dogs and giants, so be careful of that. Thankfully, there's a cabin on the way back from the facility to take shelter in if you're getting chased. The inside of Rend is very interesting, one, due to an incredibly high chance to spawn nutcrackers, since these guys can be pretty deadly without the proper training, but if you know what you're doing, they're a free shotgun that you can use to blast away other enemies. The scrap spawns here are impressive, having similar numbers to Dine, though Rend is substantially easier to survive on. Rend is also home to an impressive amount of one-handed scrap, meaning taking back entire inventories of items is not out of the question. Rend offers what, in my opinion, is a pretty cool fire exit. Down in the bottom of a pit right in front of the ship, you have easy access to some extra scrap right there. Just make sure you know the way back, as it can be pretty easy to get lost. It's for these reasons that I feel Rend is the best moon in the game, S+. But what do you guys think? Are there any moons that you guys would put elsewhere? Did I forget to mention one of your favorite or least favorite parts about a moon? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. Stick around. I've been Spikeaholic. Have a fun day. See ya.